Hello and welcome to the next episode of the Eat, Move, Win and Musings of a Bullshit Queenager podcast. And today, if you're watching this, which you probably won't be because it's quite hard to actually see it, I have got a very gorgeous guest called Laura Maginnes, and she is the founder of the Glasglow Girls Group and the Glow Club. Now, I'm not going to give away our personal Instagram handle right now because I don't know if she wants me to or not, but it involves the word pink and she likes Dolly Parton, right? So I am sitting here wearing the brightest pink lipstick you've ever seen in your life and a Dolly Parton t-shirt. And I didn't even do it on purpose. It was just serendipitous. So yes, it's not about me today. It's all about the lovely Laura. So Laura Maginnes.
Hello.
Gorgeous Laura. How are you?
Thank you so much for such a lovely intro. And Emma, I have to say, you look amazing. You
I
have
am rocking
really dressed for the occasion. So thank you so much. I'm loving it.
I know. So if you look, this won't be coming out for another few weeks, but at the moment, Scotland, we're both Scottish and in the West Coast. We're in the middle of a heat wave, which is unprecedented, right? So it's been 3 weeks of sunshine. I have certainly got now into the habit of it being sunny and just not giving two shits what I wear. So I'm living in baggy t-shirts, shorts, most days not even wearing a bra. I do have a bra on today. So yeah, we are loving the sunshine. Right. Again, not about me. Laura, who are you?
Life is good in the sunshine. We are now tropical people.
That's amazing, isn't it? Like, this is what normal people in Europe feel like when they get up in the morning, like, oh, meh, sun's out, and just wear my clothes, and they don't have to go, should I take a cagoule? Should I wear those boots and take extra socks because it's going to rain? Like, it's just so much easier to deal with.
It is a beautiful way of life, and people are happier, which just makes everything much nicer, doesn't it? So long may it continue, although all we're hearing now is it's set to end. So you need to make the most of it.
Yeah. We're not going down that path today. No, absolutely. No, the mood thing is actually really important. And it's one of the things, obviously, in my world, help people making changes, and mood plays such a big part of that. And you'll see that as well in your group. So tell us about your group. What do you do?
So the Glasglow Girls Club is a Facebook group, started life back in July 2016. I had originally had the idea when I was a lot younger that I wanted to create a chat room for women. So see, when the internet first came out, I think I was about 11.
I was going to say a chat room, like
a chat, like so retro, love it. Love the retroness. So, but I loved the chat room. See, when they first came out, I was in them and I was chatting to people from around the globe, and I loved the connectivity that the internet brought, because obviously we didn't have that before, and you were able to talk to people from all different countries, learn about new cultures. I loved it. So anyway, I was like, right, I'm going to do this. But the thing that really I didn't like about the chat rooms was the kind of creepy stuff that you would get sent from men. And, I was really young at that time, so it wasn't really a safe space for maybe somebody of my age. So after getting like lots of different things I probably shouldn't have got, I was like, right, I want to create a chat room just for women to eradicate this stuff, because I don't want it, and I'm sure lots of other women don't want it either. So fast forward to when I was working full-time at Fake Bake, I had put myself off, because when I was in my 20s, that was my partying years. I was really dead set. 20 was for partying and for traveling. So I'd kind of like, oh, I'll stick to my full-time job. I won't put any more stress on myself, and I'll just live a good life. But then Facebook groups became a thing. And for me, I was a bit like, well, there's a free way for me to create a community, free for people to join. It enables me to test whether it's actually going to be good for women. And I was literally rolling about the carpet with my dog one day, and I was like, Haggis, I'm doing this. I'm going to set up this Facebook group. So literally went on WordSwag, I think it was, created a header banner, created a wee logo, and then just created the group and invited every female on my friends list, asked them to do the same. And I think within about 3 days, it'd grown to about 800 members.
Bloody hell.
So that was awesome. I think it just hit it at a good time. There wasn't really anything like that in Glasgow. And yeah, I think it just kind of grew because it was maybe a wee bit unique at the time. So Fast forward to now, we are sitting at just over 38,000 members, I think.
Oh, it's big. It's big,
Which is
isn't it?
Oh, it's been a journey. It's been an absolute
I love
journey.
it. It is genuinely, like, I was doing a little bit of digging and seeing people's thoughts and feedback about it, and it's such an amazing community. Like, I'm in it and I've been in it for a wee while, but it's definitely been talked about as one of the best communities in the UK, which is like, for like, Glasgow's not even that big a city in the grand scheme of things, so to have that here that you've done, that must be a bit of a, oh my god, it's a bit of a head fuck.
Oh, do you know, like, it's such a passion project. Obviously, I went on to create my business from it, which has really helped prop it up, if you like, because actually admin in a group of that size is full on. Like, you know, there's so many pluses and it's great. But I have actually now got ladies to help me run it, and I probably could even be doing with expanding that team as it grows, because it's full on. There's lots of stuff that happens behind the scenes. There's quite a lot of responsibility that comes with it, because obviously if people are sharing things relating to their mental health, or, you know, we've got a duty of care to make sure that people have got crisis numbers, and so it is a massive undertaking. So actually, you know, what I'm so glad about it is that there's a business link to it, because actually the business members and the social club members, they help almost fund that main group, if you like. But yeah, it's a big undertaking. I never really went into it expecting the kind of, I don't want to say the word power, right? Because I don't like that. Like, I don't, that's not.
Embrace your power, Laura.
Oh, embrace the power. But do you know, almost that way of having a group whereby you do approve and you do decline posts. I don't really, I'm such a people pleaser. I hate declining. So yeah, that element of it sometimes I struggle a wee bit with, because, you know, you'll have people reaching out like, why have my post been declined? And we've got guidelines and we follow the guidelines, but I hate that. You know, I hate disappointing people. So there's so much like positives, but then there's lots that I need to work on my own mindset for, with being an admin of such a big group.
Yeah. And I suppose as well, like, your entire mission and vision for it was to create that community. And if that's what your end goal is, blocking somebody from being part of that community with the challenge that they've got, it's quite counterintuitive. It's not really what you wanted to be there for in the first place, I suppose.
Absolutely.
So, right, this is quite an interesting topic. So you were working full time for Fake Bake. So at what point did you then go, no, I'm going all in? And how did you make the decision?
So that's a really good question. So before I worked for Fake Bake, I worked in a marketing agency through in Edinburgh. And at the time I was living with my parents. So it was a 2-hour commute to and from my place of work. But when I like, I think I'm a workaholic, to be honest with you. My dad is most definitely a workaholic. So I don't know if it's a bit of learned behavior, but, you know, as I mentioned earlier on, I also know about myself that I'm a real people pleaser. So what I was doing in both my work in Edinburgh and in my work in Fake Bake was, I was almost like over, not over delivering, because I, you know, believe that that's obviously your role as a staff member is to deliver good work, but it was almost to my own detriment. I was like working all hours. I was getting really stressed out about different things. I make no secret of the fact that I'm quite an anxious person. So I think almost having a boss, what I came to realize, gave me anxiety, because I was
Really?
so all about the people pleasing and doing too much. And so it got to the point actually where the Facebook group had grown to a really good size. I think it was about 6,000 people. And my husband Lee had basically said to me, if you're going to work this hard, do it for yourself, because, you know, you're working till all hours. And so I thought to myself, that was the one time that I actually listened to him. I was like, the
Lee's
man
listening
makes
to
a
this
good
going,
point.
did you actually listen? Wow.
Very, very insightful from the bold Lee there. But I thought, you know, he's got a point. And actually, I guess I probably always did have that wee thing inside that was a bit like, do you want to be your own boss? It might be quite cool. Why don't you try it? So I think that kind of wee fire within me, coupled with the fact that I wanted to try working for myself and actually seeing if it helped my own like anxiety levels. Needless to say, being a business owner comes with its whole shitload of anxiety and stuff, but actually there's real joy in working for yourself. So I think basically I left Fake Bake at the end of 2017, Christmas time. And then I spent that whole year building the brand more, so getting out there, doing networking events, hosting my own networking events so I could hear from potential members about what they would want in a membership, and then launched the membership at the end of December 2018. Not a good time to launch a subscription-based business if anybody is thinking about launching their own membership. I had wanted to launch it in October, but with things that were going on with programming, there was a delay, and then I thought, fuck it, just launch it.
How many business owners have actually launched based on that fuck it moment of just do it and just see what happens?
Probably very many. And I think there is a lot to be said for it, because like I know we talk about this a lot in the membership, like progress over perfection. It is, that is the way that you should run your business so that it doesn't hold you back. But launching a business in December, a subscription-based business, when people are cash short at a time where they're spending, and then they're thinking, oh, that subscription's coming up. I'll just, so you're like, I'll just cancel it. And you're like, right, okay, but yeah, not ideal.
No, it's not. But like you could spend all day trying to find the right time to do anything, and there isn't ever a right time to do anything. Like there's always going to be something on, and you like what's done is done, and it's launched and it's hugely successful now. So
thank you so much. We're getting there. Every day's a learning. I can say
I know
that.
it is so much fun though. Like I am a business member, and that's how I met Laura. Through the events that they put, like, and you can't go to everything, and I would love to go to everything, but I would probably end up an alcoholic, to be fair. So I'm not going to go to everything. But I'm
trying to upskill the mocktails now. So
I was really he'd put on a brunch just last weekend there, which I couldn't go to because I was learning to be a falconer. I had an owl on my arm. Anyway,
it's an excuse not to make it, Emma.
I know, it's like that. I met her at a networking thing. I was just like, Laura, what time does the brunch actually start? Because I'm going to a birds of prey thing. She's just looking at me like, you're a complete bellend. What are you talking about? So yeah, I had to go and explain the whole birds of prey thing. Anyway, right. How did big events like the brunch and speedy networking and all of these things, how did they come about? Because that's quite a big jump.
Yes, so the brunch, actually, I love the brunch because it's a real social, it's basically like a party brunch. It's business members do come, I do the seating plan and they sit together, but I don't pitch it as a networking thing. It's more about meeting new friends and just having fun. And yes, if business is discussed, then that's totally fair enough. But the brunch club came about back in 2019. I had a meeting with Rads and Red Glasgow, and actually a lot of what the GGC does is done in collaboration with people, which I think is really important because you can massively expand your reach and everything if you do collaboration. So I'm such a big advocate. So I'd had a meeting with Rads and Red, and I'd said that I wanted to do something like a brunch because people were talking about it in the group, really good for social listening, Facebook groups. And they basically said, well, let's collaborate on it. And I worked with their team to create the Rooftop Brunch Club, and we launched it, and it was just an immediate hit. I think it was picked up on Glasgow Live, the first one, so it sold out within about half an hour, and then ever since then we got regulars coming back because they enjoyed it. So actually it's never an event where you really need to sell too hard on. It kind of like sells itself, which is a dream for a business owner. And
it's a rooftop bar with alcohol and a group of women that love nattering. So absolute goldmine hit right there.
So that's it. And I'm always really like, I'm so big on value for money. Like I always think to myself, right, how can we make this super valuable for people? Because like we are living in tough times, and I want people to think to themselves, wow, that was so worth it. I would hate for people to leave in a GGC event and think, oh, that wasn't really worth it. So with it being a higher ticket price, so it's maybe around the £44 for paying members, and then for non-paying members the next brunch is £54. But what they get for that is they'll get a glass of fizz on arrival, free cocktails or mocktails, depending on whether they're a drinker or not, an all-you-can-eat buffet brunch, and they'll also take away a gift. So we always have a drink sponsor and a gift sponsor. So for that one there, the lovely Jill at Bloom, she was our gifting partner.
Oh, my lovely Jill.
We love Jill, and she gave everybody a £60 voucher for Bloom. So really, that voucher superseded the cost of the brunch. So I was effectively paying people to come to the brunch.
Oh, that's incredible.
But I love that. I love giving the value, and every brunch will always have a drink sponsor and a gifting partner, and people will leave with something which they will hopefully love. So yeah, they're quite large scale events for me. But I think that, if you are a business owner, running events is a great way for brand visibility and a great way for brand loyalty and growth. So yeah, going from launching, doing the kind of small events, which was just me, I think it was the power of collaboration that helped me go bigger.
Yeah, it's incredible. It's something that, like, in the small business community, as talked about, you see it happening, the trend happening, that a lot more business owners are having like retreats and day events. And I would love to do something like that myself. But I think, like you, I've got anxiety. Is that whole like, oh my God, no one will come, who am I to have these kind of things? And that's a whole mindset thing, isn't it? And you've done like incredibly well to get the volume and to get the trust. I think that's such a huge part of it, as well as building that trust element, which you've got through your free community group, as well as the members in the social club too. So it can't all be lovely smelling roses. Like, what bits of it are you just like, oh my God?
That's a really good question. Oh, I think it really depends on how you feel of a day, doesn't it? Because sometimes you're just knackered. So
I know right now everything's amazing. Like, you can do so much in the sunshine.
Well, actually, for like, that's a real, so like, obviously I'm looking outside just now, recording this in my office, thinking to myself, do you know what? Like, actually, after this podcast, I just want to go and lie in a beanbag and close my eyes. So I think, like, as much as like I love the sunshine, it really wants to pull me away from my desk. But I think parts that kind of I maybe struggle with personally, well, obviously time management and the balance. I think as a business owner, you never switch off. So yeah, I struggle with that. The only times that I do manage to switch off are when I go on holiday, because I'm really strict with myself on staying away from social media and kind of all that jazz. That is the time where I'm really like, okay, Laura, you need to switch off. Because I've got a lovely team behind me that help me. So, shout out to Claire from Star Consultancy, who's my VA.
She's awesome.
She's awesome, and she actually allows me to go on holiday and switch off. So I think that's like priceless. I've got my cousin who helps me admin the group as well. So Andrina, she helps. So having like good people around you can help with the whole time management thing, but that's still a work in progress for me. So time management 100% and balance. And other things, like maybe when you are the admin of a big group. So when I started the GGC Facebook group, I was working full time and I didn't have an intention of creating a business from it. So at that point, I didn't target any specific like niches or anything. It was just basically all women are welcome in the group. And now that is also part of the magic of it. But with that comes a whole host of personal stuff that's going on in some women's lives that they will share in the group. We've got an anonymous posting switched on. And that obviously opens up the doors for women to really lay their heart and soul out in a Facebook group. And I think sometimes when myself and the admin team are reading through the messages, we can maybe start feeling quite low ourselves, because a lot of the stuff is really hard hitting. We have had since the group started, we've had medical professionals, mental health practitioners, social workers, teachers. We've had every type of professional body almost message us about either our guidelines or contents or stuff to look out for, which I am grateful of. So they'll maybe say, I mean, we changed it a while ago. We really don't want people to be asking for medical advice in the group. And there's a fine line between people asking for shared experience, so not medical advice, but has anyone been through this? And maybe they're just wanting a chat with someone who's been through it, or somebody who's physically posting a picture of something on their body and asking for we're just like, we are so worried about people getting unqualified medical advice. So that's something. There's the mental health stuff, which we never want to like shy away from because it's so important. But we obviously can't have people messaging in the group that they're feeling suicidal, that they self-harm, anything like that, because what we've been told and what is, understandable is that if somebody is feeling really low, then seeing somebody else talking about it could be a massive trigger for them.
Yeah.
So you've then got the stuff where you're reaching out behind the scenes to somebody who is struggling. None of us are like qualified in the kind of mental health scheme. We can only really, provide signposting to people that are qualified. But I find that stuff really hard because I really just want to help everybody. But I need to be really conscious of the safety of the group as well as the safety of the poster. So that for me is a wee bit of a minefield. I would love to get to the point where I could maybe have a welfare officer in the GGC who is totally trained on all elements of mental health and who could be reaching out to people, potentially giving them a phone, knows exactly where they should go. I would love that, but it's just not there yet. So yeah.
Certainly it is such a minefield because you as a people pleaser want to be able to provide that safe place. But yeah, you've got another 36,000 people to consider, and plus, is that advice going to be right for that person at that time? You just don't know.
Oh, I know. And the
Complex.
other thing as well is the potential for people to get scammed. That puts the absolute fear of God into me as well. So we've got like some admin assist things that don't allow new accounts into the group because very often people will create robot accounts all at once and then they'll all try and. But even things like if somebody is reaching out for genuine help, we're always a wee bit like messaging in the back because we can't really verify. So, and this is what I say in the group, we aren't a charity. So, like, we can't verify 38,000 people and we can't verify 400 posts a day. So, what we're really also conscious of is people posting, like, looking for help financially. They're really struggling. But then there's always that wee thing of, what if this is a really clever scammer? Because we all know scammers are super clever and is just like almost preying on people's charity. So you then get that as well. So it is a minefield. It's worth it. And as you said earlier on, very graciously and lovelily, not a word, but the
We'll make
feedback
it a
is
word.
good. Lovelily. The feedback is good. And I know that women get a lot from it, but we're so cautious behind the scenes of stuff that goes on. So yeah, that's probably, and that's not even, the GGC is a free community. So that's not even like the business as such. The business is the membership and the events. The free community definitely takes up a lot of time though.
Yeah. It's the same for me as well. Like I've got, like we've talked before about my Facebook group because Laura is you've got a special title, a Facebook community group expert, verified by Facebook, is that right?
That's it. It's a certified community manager for Facebook.
So we've talked a lot about my free group, Wild Women Community. And it's really fucking hard managing a free group. Like I've got nearly 5,000 people in there and that's hard enough. Like
that's amazing.
Whatever that is, how many times you have to multiply that to get to 36,000 is like, oh my God, that's quite scary business. You touched on this a little bit, and I think it's something that's worthwhile digging into about social media and minimizing or maximizing the time you spend on it. And this must be something that you are very tuned into. It's certainly something that I'm really tuned into. And my wee boy is he'll be turning 12 this year. And I'm very conscious of how much I use social media because that's where all my business is. So how have you got to a point where you can be so disciplined that you're like, that's it, no more social media for either today or for this week while I'm on holiday? How did you start implementing that, and what are your recommendations for other people?
Okay, so I feel as though I've probably not mastered it, to be honest with you. I've probably not mastered it, certainly when I'm at home and when I'm like working, just because the group is on post approval. Posts always need approved, so it is constant. However, what I would say is when I go on holiday, I think it's almost like I become sometimes when you take a break and it's like you've hit a brick wall, like you're so tired and you're like, it's almost like your body's just been building up to this holiday, and then you need to take a break. So I think just on holiday, just being like, no, like not checking it, not checking emails, not checking into social media. I mean, I've got friends that will literally be like that to me. Oh, Laura, did you see I announced this on social media and stuff? And I'm like, no, I'm really sorry, because whenever I go on social media, it's to work. So I rarely scroll through my own home feed or anything like that. I try and so I'm probably not there yet. I'd love to get to a point where I was like, right, I'm tuning out, and but I think social media is one of those things. It's great for business owners because, like you said, Emma, like you've got your own group. That's where you get your business from. And similarly for me, that is the exact same thing. But it can be very antisocial,
Yeah.
can't it? Because it's social online, but almost takes you away sometimes from real life. So I think getting the balance between, even if you don't go on holiday, if you're even just taking a week off or staycation, just try not check in, but yeah, if anyone else has got any other tips that could send me them, I'd love it.
I know I was getting like, I was primarily 90% Facebook for a number of years, and I was getting to the point where you don't actually see anything of your own friends or your own family's posts, because obviously the algorithms start sending you the stuff so you see a lot of adverts, you see a lot of people that you don't really know. And I was absolutely getting quite angry, just like I didn't want to be there anymore. And obviously when you're in that kind of mindset as a business owner, that's not great, especially when your business is online.
Yeah.
And I found it really difficult to try and be a little bit more pragmatic about it and go, right, this is a business tool, this is no longer a fun thing. But I've started using Instagram a lot, probably the past year, and I get much more enjoyment from that because I've got less people. But I think there's more and more people, kind of my generation, that are now jumping over to Instagram. So it is more real life and it is more fun. And that has helped for me. But also, one of our big things that we talk about with our clients is around sleep and stress management, and how adrenaline and cortisol are very hormonal reactions, but they are very much driven by this whole dopamine hit that we get from social media. So I have to practice what I preach, and I tell my clients, switch off your phones at 9 o'clock, don't have them in the bedroom. And I have to apply those limits to my son as well, like that, right? No more phones after 8 o'clock, put it down. It's like, oh no, can I just go and game instead, like that? No, it defeats the entire point of what we're trying to do.
Yeah.
But it's really hard because everything is on social media, everything.
Oh, yeah. But I think it must be it must be so globally felt, this feeling of being on it too much. And I know it's with the Facebook thing, as much as I've maybe given a wee bit of maybe of the slightly more negative side has been I've been a Facebook group admin, I do still think that there is such beauty in community. And I think that when it comes to virtual communities, because I am on Instagram as well, but I definitely get most of my traffic from the Facebook group. And
it's still the biggest platform though, isn't it? In terms of usage and user numbers, it's still than everyone else.
Absolutely, still the number one. But I think there is a magic in the community aspect of it. So I know a lot of women who, they're maybe quite lonely in life, and actually they get a lot just from scrolling through a Facebook group and stuff. So yeah, whilst you want a break from it, actually there can be a lot of positives with it. So I guess it is just being really strict with yourself. I think during the day for me, time blocking is the only thing that works with my mind to actually get me through my to-do list. So I actually time block some time to go into groups and do a bit of networking or doing some approval. I think that maybe helps so that you're maybe just not sitting on your phone all day and yeah, having it away from you. Whether it's during when you're sleeping or when you're working, like put it away, because there's nothing more distracting than your phone pinging. So
I think I switch off all notifications, which now means that I don't actually know when anybody tries to phone me, or is actually an important update. Like, damn it, there is no happy medium here.
I know that's the thing. There isn't really a happy medium.
Yeah,
I know, but it's just it's just navigating it yourself. And if you do feel like you're on it too much, then you're definitely on it too much.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely. Because you've got it like at like one of my very close friends. She is not on anything anymore. She's not on Facebook. She's not on Instagram. She's nothing.
Wow.
But because I don't see anything, like I almost don't speak to her. Like every now and then we'll now have a WhatsApp conversation, and but that's really, I'm like, oh my God, I need to actually remember to get in touch, because you're not getting this full on visibility all the time.
Yes.
But when I hear of people that are not on, because I've been working my business on social media, I'm like, what do you mean you're not on social media? Like, what kind of weirdo are you?
Oh, honestly, that's so Lee, he is only on Twitter, and he's only on Twitter because he follows all the football stuff. Like, so he's got all the football people on his Twitter, and he hates social media. He's
my husband's exactly the same.
Yeah, I know. So yeah, I mean, people are not on it, which is like, but to be fair, he's like, Lee is rarely on his phone. So whereas every time he turns around, I'm on my phone. So yes, yeah, there's always that. Just don't be on it.
I know, but then like you see people, like I talk to friends that maybe got older kids and their kids are on their phones all the time. And then I'm on my phone a moderate amount of time. My husband's hardly ever on his phone. So I'm getting chinned from him about being on my phone loads. But in actual fact, compared to younger kids, younger generation, I'm actually not on my phone all that much, considering that's where like the lifeblood of me is. So it's quite interesting, just the different variables, I suppose. Right, tell us about your membership, because this is quite a cool place that you've curated. So tell us about that.
So the membership is, we've got a social club and we've got a business club. So we hope to appeal to as many different women as we possibly can. So the social club is all about encouraging women to go to events around Glasgow, use the deals, try new places. We've got a private group whereby we've got people in doing like mindset lives, gardening lives. We've got a book club chat room. So it's really all about kind of learning together, maybe pushing yourself outside your comfort zone, because maybe there's a lot of the social events I encourage people to come alone to. So we've done things like paddle boarding, and like one of the members came along and she's terrified of water, but she still did it. So that was a real lovely moment from her. So we've had a Spanish masterclass. So that's all about kind of like growing personally. And then the business membership is all about growing professionally. So we do lots of networking events. We do weekly caffeine and co-working, which is,
they are brilliant.
Thank you so much. I actually use them to really seriously get through my own stuff. So I love them as well. And we've got obviously our private Facebook group where you can ask any questions and there'll be an expert on something in it. And we do, so that's at events, training. We've got lots of different trainings. So we try to cover lots of different things to help business owners grow. And probably one of the main things is the visibility. So I think that's probably the USP for the GGC, because we've got that main group. We can allow our business members to do advertising in that group every week, and it's only business members that can do that. So I think that is a bit of a unique selling point with our membership. So yeah, look, visibility, training, networking, all sorts of lovely stuff to help your business grow.
It is. I'm in a couple of kind of different networking groups, and it's by far and away my favorite one. Like the value, I know you're talking about like you want people to go, it's really good value, but it's a really good vibe as well. And it's not like a lot of kind of networking, it's like it's a bit icky feeling, isn't it? Like, and I think that we need to create a different word for networking that isn't like traditional sounding networking. But I don't know, it's just a really cool place, and I have met so many interesting people who have helped me personally and professionally through that group. And it's just a really nice vibe. So if you are a business owner and you want to sign up, go and find how would you find the business club?
So glasglowgirlsclub.com, and then you can click on become a member and you can find out more about both memberships.
Yeah, it is fab. I know I've recommended quite a few people. Actually, you need an affiliate link. There's about 4 people that I've had sign up in the past wee while.
I know, you know what? That is actually, it's been on the cards for years, the affiliate link, but I'm hopeful to get a plugin. It's to get one that works with all my plugins.
Yeah.
And I'm not a techie person, but I think we might have found one. So when the website gets relaunched this summer, hopefully, the plugin will hopefully be in there. So that means that business members can affiliate.
I don't know any more people. I've done everybody. Don't know anyone.
Oh God! Oh well, I'll need to shout you. I'll need to shout you an event or something, Emma.
Oh, that's hilarious. Like all my people are now in. That's fine. Right, lovely. That was really interesting. Like for any business owners as well, I don't know if you're still offering this, but I'm still going to pitch it anyway. Laura also she helps other business owners with their own community group growth and engagement, and I had so much benefit from our hour together. So you can reach out to Laura using the Glasgow Girls website to find out more about that too.
Thank you, Emma, because that's actually something that I need to make a focus of.
You do. I have picked that up quite a lot to other people.
You.
And I think you really, like, obviously I am not a business coach yet, but it is something that you need to promote more because it is very good.
No, I'm so grateful. Thank you. So I'll go and do that right now.
Go and do that. Right. Okay. Thank you, Laura. It was amazing to learn more about you, and I'll put Laura's all the links that you need in the show notes.
Thank you so much for having me, and thank you for anyone that's listening.